really nice hair. He might, and he would pay 25%
He
more.
would. He would. It's called the outlandish tax.
To Zicky, yes, it would be the outlandish tax.
Oh, I took off the quit button. I had a button on here where I could
See,
just quit
Jay Wild knows what I'm talking about.
Okay, so she says razors, shaving cream, tampons, pads, etc. They all have the pink tax. I did not know. I did not know.
Although in Canada, they did say they took the sales tax off of our products.
Now I need somebody to tell me. Did you just tell me why that is? Like why?
Because they can.
Well, that's stupid. That's dumb.
Hello?
Hello. Oh, our guest is here. Look at that.
Sorry. I was having internet issues.
Oh, it's no problem. Oh, I can see. Did you want to do video? Oh, there he is. I saw him.
Yeah.
Popped up. There he is. Look at that. Look at that. Hottest free agent comes strolling in.
But
we were just
AEW sweater and everything.
We were just
it's
saying
a little chilly out.
I was prepping today and I had everything set up, and then I caught a news article or tweet or something or other, and it said Danny Limelight claims himself the hottest free agent in wrestling. No offense to everybody else. After your performance last night on AEW, why are you the hottest free agent?
I meant it in terms of being the most attractive free agent, man.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I see what you're saying there. I gotcha.
No, I'm just kidding. Nah, man, I just, I felt like this last year, 2020, I kind of really did a lot. Really got myself out there, put my name out there for people. With wrestling between, New Japan and AEW Dark and Primetime Live and United Wrestling Network, as well as the independent scene before things really got messed up. I just really showcased, the consistency in my work ethic and what I can do. And I think that last night, when you step into the ring with somebody who's considered arguably to be the best wrestler in the world, and you're in there with the Good Brothers as well, and you're able to just, go toe-to-toe with them and show that you belong, I feel like that was just like a taste of what I can do. And I think that everything it just came out so crisp, so clean. And I think Twitter itself was going nuts about it. Like, it was, definitely my coming out party, I would say. And I'm super grateful that I was able to get that opportunity from, AEW to showcase that talent in a match with Kenny Omega. And I think that, having not signed any official contract right now and the way that everybody's talking about me right now, I think that it's safe to say that I am the most talked about wrestler today because of last night. And I think that, that it was just, just a little shit talking. That's all it was.
Yeah. And that's good. And it came off well. And I thought it was great. And it wasn't just Dynamite last night. You have been on Dark several times. Speaking, just talking about AEW. You mentioned. Go ahead.
And even on Dark, like, I'm not wrestling like just anybody on Dark. I'm not just doing like little 3-minute matches on Dark. I'm in there with Ray Phoenix. I'm in there with Brian Cage, Matt Sydal multiple times. I'm going back and forth with these guys. It's some of their best talent the roster has. Just showing what I can do with them. And then I know you're about to bring up the New Japan stuff, like being a part of Team Filthy on New Japan and, wrestling Chase Owens and Rocky Romero and some of the top guys there as well. Can you guys still see me?
Yeah, we got you. Yep, you're good.
Just the Lions Break Crown tournament, going to the finals there, winning the United Wrestling Network Tag Team Championships here in LA. Like, it's been a long fight to get to this point where now people are just not acknowledging my talent. And I think that, I want to capitalize on this momentum, on this steam, and just keep it rocking.
Yeah, it's strange because it has been a crazy year. It's been an insane year. Like, and it just took the independent world, tipped it upside down. But you've found a way through, determination and drive to maximize this crazy year, get the most exposure you can.
Yes.
Like, you're all over Fight. Like, I use Fight TV all the time. You're on every show. Like, there's Danny Limelight. So
somebody pointed it out to me. They're like, you're on TV Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday with 4 different companies. And I've never been signed anywhere before. So it's not like I'm coming off of WWE, coming out of WWE now, and I had that behind me, that machine behind me, giving me this attention. It's not like I was signed to New Japan and was wrestling in the Tokyo Dome last year. Like, this literally just happened this year. I took the worst year in history in 2020 and try to make it my year. Try to make it my breakout year. I didn't use anything as an excuse. I just worked hard, and I think that once I got one door open for me, I just kept knocking on doors. Just kept trying to get out there. And just really do the best that I could to make myself known in this shitty time, because wrestling is what I want to do. And I think that, for a while now, I've wanted to be elite. And when I finally got to make my debut towards the end of the year, after everything happened with New Japan, I didn't think that, anything else was going to pop up. I thought this was as big as it was going to get. I was like, okay, I'm in New Japan this year. I'm satisfied. I'm happy. This is like a huge accomplishment. This is, one of the biggest companies in the world, one of the best companies in the world. And then, not to say one is better than the other, but then when AEW happened on top of that, like, it kind of just continued to snowball effect,
Yeah. Let's scroll back. Let's backpedal just a little bit. I want to go to 1997, Bad Blood. How upset were you when Kane came out and ruined that Taker HBK match?
I was so mad. I turned the TV off and my dad smacked me in the back of the head. He had bought the pay-per-view to the show, and yeah, man, I was so invested in Undertaker and Michaels, and just that happening. It was like my first real taste of the storytelling, the Shakespeare art, if you will, of professional wrestling, and it sold me. I was so angry, That's that moment would be the first real memorable moment that I have of professional wrestling.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Was that emotional moment that you said you were so invested in, was that the first thing you can recall?
Yes.
Yeah. What else?
And then it was The Rock.
Yeah,
after that, it 100% became The Rock after that. Every little catchphrase he said, every little mannerism, movement he did, everything that The Rock did in the late 90s, early 2000s before he went to Hollywood was what kept me watching wrestling. The show was named after his catchphrase, SmackDown. You know what I'm saying? Like, The Rock was just, to me, he was like the best entertainer on the show. It was somebody that I look forward to watching. And when he left, I really, really got attached to Eddie Guerrero and everything that he was doing for the Latino culture. So, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know about other wrestling back when I was young. I didn't know about the independents. I didn't know about New Japan. I didn't know about Ring of Honor, none of that stuff. It wasn't until I started wrestling when I actually learned about, the wrestling business.
Do you go back now, whether it's through YouTube or the network or whatever, do you go back and watch the old school wrestling and try to pull things from it and learn from it?
Yeah, I think lately I've been a real student of the game. I've been really trying to, obviously take myself to the next level. When I first started wrestling, I was doing all the flippy cool stuff that I seen on Twitter, because of, my background in parkour and athleticism that I have. I was able to do the cool flippy stuff. And that's all I was doing. There wasn't much behind it besides that. And it's not to take away from wrestlers that only do that. But what I learned was, if I wanted to get to that next level, I needed to do a lot more than just show how athletic I could be. I felt like I was always charismatic enough on the microphone when I'm in front of a camera. I felt like I was able to talk and sell myself that way, promo-wise. But in the ring, the storytelling and the structures of the match and the things that I did in the match was something that I definitely needed help on. Mm. And so just, going back and watching footage from back in the day, and lately more so now, I've been watching like a lot of Dragon Gate stuff, like a lot of old Japan stuff, and even revisiting, that 1997, 1998, WWF, if you would, Attitude Era, really was the stuff that I watch now. When I first, started wrestling, I was just in the now, like what's good, what's fun now, what is people watching now, what do they want to see now? And it wasn't until I decided that I needed to just change my stuff and be a little bit more versatile, a little bit more of the hybrid, and start including more of the striking game and the submission game. And a lot of that came from New Japan Strong, wrestling in New Japan, that kind of style, and mixing that in, because I do have the background, in martial arts. I do have the background in boxing. I do have the background in things like that. And I know how to do that stuff. But in the wrestling ring, for some reason, it was just, I need to show how athletic I am. Yeah. And so now that I've been able to kind of like mush it all together and just been watching, some of the guys that are on AEW, back when they were on the independent scene, like a lot of Chikara, a lot of, PWG stuff, just to see the innovativeness and get my brain and my juices flowing in my head. I really just try to stay creative and innovative when I'm in the ring, and I watch something, I see it, and I think, what can I do differently, so.
Do you think a lot of wrestlers today in the wrestlers that we're seeing today, do you think they have that same struggle where they have the skills and the talent with the boxing, with the strikes, but when they get in the ring, they do lean on as you know, the flippy stuff. Do you think a lot of wrestlers struggle with that?
I don't know. I can't
Can't
I can't speak on that. I know that everybody's struggles is different.
Yeah.
You know, I think that there's nothing wrong with being able to just do that stuff. You know, there's a place for it. Um, I started making my rounds in the independent scene because I was able to do that.
Yeah.
I think what has helped me get to the next level is my ability to cut a promo, is my ability to have that camera presence and finding the cameras and things like that. I think it's my ability to be able to wrestle any kind of style with anybody. I think that's something that I've shown as of late. But the thing is, people believe too much what they see on the internet. I think people, you know, other wrestlers that are coming up, they see a GIF going viral and they think that that's what they need to get signed. You know, I need that to get signed, or I need this to get signed. And then a lot of it too is kind of like I don't want to say copying somebody's move, because I feel like nobody owns any move in professional wrestling. I think that's been like kind of the talk of Twitter lately, is people's stealing moves and things like that. And everybody has their own opinion and they deserve that. But for me, you know, if I watched Eddie Guerrero, you know, when he was in New Japan, or early WCW Eddie Guerrero, you know, my favorite match to watch is Halloween Havoc, you know, Ray and Eddie.
Yep.
It's my favorite match. I watched that one, you know, and that's where the juices get to flowing in my head. And if I see something and I take inspiration from that and I put it into something else that I want to do, in a way, I'm kind of stealing, you know, what they're doing. I'm just mixing it and making it my own.
Right.
And I like to say I'm putting a little bit of sazon on it. You know, like I season my food when I'm cooking.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an issue with that with wrestlers. I think the issue is they feel like that's all they're supposed to do is what they see online. And they want people they see retweeting or tagging them in. You know, and like, oh, if I want to get noticed, I need to do that. You know, I need to do however many Canadian destroyers, and you know, that was like the big move when I started wrestling. Everybody was doing a Canadian destroyer in the match on an independent show. You know, and for me, I think that being yourself and being authentic in the ring into who you are and your character or whatever that may be is what's going to get you over with the fans. I think that when I started being more me and doing what I would do and not what I see other people doing, is when I really started to stand out. And a lot of that, again, I give credit to wrestling in New Japan, because that style is just so intense, and you know, it molded me to want to not just be another guy that can flip. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes perfect sense. Especially with the social media, the clicks and the retweets.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know, the fans are what gets people noticed. You know what I'm saying? Like fans, they're the guys that keep us in business. They're the guys that are, and the girls that are like, yeah, this guy. Obviously that helps. But okay, they see you do a cool clip of one move, and then you get booked, and then you can't, you know, strike properly, or you can't, you know, wrestle, or whatever the case may be. Now you just, you know, you shot yourself in the foot because they thought because they saw one clip of you that you were as good as what the internet was saying, right? So I think that just, you know, be innovative, have cool flippy moves if that's what you want to do, but be able to wrestle any style and be able to be flexible with it. And I think that for people that have been watching me, more specifically last year, and even last night, you know, at the time that we're recording this, I don't know if this is live or being recorded. But like,
no, we're live.
What you see me do, you know, what I did in the ring with Kenny and Carl, I wasn't just flipping in there. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted everything to make sense. I'm in the ring with the best in the world. I want to make sure that what I'm doing is something that's going to resonate with the fans. And obviously, based on the reaction of the internet, I belonged in there. You know, and a lot of it was because of mixing up the strikes, you know, mixing up the selling, finding the cameras, making everything that I'm taking look good. Selling is huge. You know what I'm saying? So, man, it was been a roller coaster of a day coming off of that ride, you know, but I hope I answered that question and I didn't kind of like steer it the wrong way, but that's basically how my brain's taking it in.
Yeah, no, it was good. I just want to go back. You talked about knocking doors down this year. When you get a door, you go open it, you go through it, you knock the next one down. But now, correct me if I'm wrong, your first wrestling school kind of shut the door on you, right?
Yes.
Like I like redemption stories. They shut the door on you. What they told you you'd never wrestle or something to that?
You'll never wrestle again.
Yeah, never wrestle again. Who played a pivotal role opening that next door for you?
David Marquez.
David Marquez. Yes.
Championship wrestler from Hollywood is
Yep.
the person that, I made a joke the other day. I said I owe him my career.
Yeah.
It's not really a joke, because if he would have not called me to get my side of the story, and brought me into his show, I wouldn't be wrestling right now, because nobody in Southern California scene was gonna book me based off that school's word. And he took a chance on a young Puerto Rican kid. Yeah, I was still in the Marine Corps, so
Yep.
I had that I'm the best mentality. The Marine Corps bred me to be a certain way, and I carry that into my life now. Obviously, I'm a little bit older now, so I know how to dial it back some. But David Marquez, extended that hand, and I was 9 months in wrestling on his TV show, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna fuck this up. Excuse my language. I don't know if I can.
You're fine.
I was like, there's no way I'm gonna mess this up. This man took a chance on me, and every chance I get, any interview I ever have, I always thank him. And today, Facebook reminded me that him and I became friends on Facebook 6 years ago.
Wow.
So how crazy is it? The day after the biggest night of my life, hey, reminder, this guy became your friend this day and called you and told you he wanted to bring you to his show. And I think to me that's full circle, man. So it was his show, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. They brought me in. More people started booking me based off me saying that I work for his company.
Yeah.
And even when I took a break from wrestling to go be a drone instructor in the Marine Corps, when I came back, he was one of the first people that welcomed me back into Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. And the momentum just kept rocking and rolling from there. And now I'm one of his champions right now at the United Wrestling Network.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you are one of the champions, I believe, tag team champion, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, with Papo Esco, the King Fat Boy.
The King Fat Boy, the Bodega.
The Bodega.
Do you prefer tag team wrestling over singles, or is it a little bit of both? Do they have their ups and downs?
For me, I like to be flexible. The Marine Corps always taught me to adapt and overcome. Yeah. So however I can be an asset to a company and add value to it, yes. I'm with it. I love singles wrestling. It's how I started. It's who Danny Limelight is. He's, I'm a singles guy. I want the limelight. I want that. You know what I'm saying? But I can also rock and roll with a tag team partner, as everybody can see when I'm teaming with Papo Esco, or even in the tag matches that I've done on AEW Dark and part of Team Filthy with Tom Lawler, JR Kratos, and now Chris Dickinson.
Yeah.
We had Ryan Taylor before he got signed by WWE, but even the tag work that I've done there, it shows that I can do the tag team stuff. I just, whatever the company needs me to do, however I can add value, I'm game for it.
Yeah, and that's definitely that military background. My father's in the military. That's what he instilled in us. However you can make the group stronger, you go with that for sure. Last night, you're on AEW, one of the biggest matches with three of the best wrestlers in the world, as you said. You come through that curtain, so to speak, after the match. Who's the first person that comes to you? Who's the first person you lean on, and what do they tell you?
Oh man, dude, I walked through the curtain, and the first thing that I did was I took a knee.
Yeah.
And I was thank God, because that was a spot that could have maybe have gone to anybody else.
That's right.
There are so much talented up and comers in that locker room that could have thrived in that position. And I was just blessed and fortunate that they gave me that chance to showcase. I seen a lot of the tweets that was like, oh, somehow it became the Danny Limelight show. It was a Danny Limelight show, whatever people were saying. And I tweeted that, the hottest free agent thing I tweeted after I had left.
Yeah. But
the first person that came to me was I'd rather not say the person's name just because of,
yeah,
kayfabe and stuff like that. But
yeah,
there was a lot of people that came to me after that. The one person that I would say was Chris Jericho.
Okay.
And I would name him because has nothing to do with what was going on in the ring, and he,
love to keep it kayfabe. I'm all on board. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jericho, he said, dude, I had never seen your work before. I did not know who you were other than seeing a couple flyers for AEW Dark. He's like, but I was incredibly impressed with what you did in the ring.
Nice. Awesome.
And for me, somebody who grew up seeing Jericho, and really him being one of the first smaller guys, not saying he's small, but he was considered a cruiserweight in the beginning and things like that. To climb the mountain and become one of the best ever, and to hear him say those things to me, man, like that shit, like that, it hit my heart, man, and it was like I need to work harder now.
Yep.
Because now there's somebody who hadn't seen me before, seen a taste of what I know in my head. I know that what I did in that room with Kenny was just like touching the iceberg of what I can do in the ring. And for people that see me have actual single matches on the independents or at New Japan, knows that I have so much more to give in the match. But he saw just a little bit. Dustin was another one that came up to me and was like, "Wow, I'm like, you impressed me. You did you and I want hard critique. I want hard. I don't want the good boy, the attaboy stuff. I want you to tell me what I sucked at. And they gave me their critique. They gave me their feedback. And I think it's very important that when people give you feedback and critique, you take it and you work on it. And after every match that I've had on AEW, every match I have at New Japan, I always ask the people in the back afterwards, the people that who I don't want to say people that matter, but the people that like are agenting the matches or whatever have you.
Yeah.
Like, what do I need to do better? What did I do wrong? What could I have done instead? X, Y, Z. And I always, and I'm super grateful that I always get it, and I make sure the next match I have, that the critique they gave me for the match prior, I show that I can do it.
It's awesome. It's great.
But there was a lot of people that came to me after the match and was like, "Good shit, man."
Yeah.
And I don't want to sit here and name drop and all that stuff. But
that's cool.
It was truly a blessing. It was like a very, it was like a wow moment for me. You know what I'm saying? Like 2020 was an amazing year for me. And one of the things I told myself coming into 2021 was I need to stay consistent. I need to work harder. It can't just be a fluke year. You know what I'm saying? And the second week of the year, I think it's the second week or the third week, I'm not sure. I'm wrestling Kenny, wrestling Kenny, so it was wild, man.
Yeah. I was gonna say I can feel the passion you have coming through this Zoom. Like I can feel it in your words. You speak great. We all know you're an awesome promo guy. I can just feel it though. When you say it's the tip of the iceberg, like I don't know, I get excited about it. And that match last night got me excited. And I've seen you in UWN. I saw you on New Japan Strong this past Friday.
Yep.
But man, I was just really pumped. Great stuff.
Thank you.
You mentioned earlier, obviously, you're from Brooklyn, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you get the Puerto Rican background. What's it mean to you to represent Puerto Rico, its culture within wrestling?
Oh man, it's huge for me.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, there wasn't many Puerto Ricans on TV.
Right.
There wasn't any real Puerto Rican heroes or guys that were in the top picture or guys that were on TV every time. I think the most that we got from Puerto Ricans was Carlito. And he held it down. But to me, when I looked at TV, even TV in general, because aside from the wrestling, a lot of people know how to do the acting and the stunt work as well. But even on TV, all we had was J-Lo and Mark Anthony. You know what I'm saying? So there was not many Puerto Ricans that were doing it. If there was a Puerto Rican, they were playing a Mexican.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't be themselves. And my daughter, she's half Puerto Rican, half Mexican. So it's very important for me as a father to my daughter to be able to represent the culture. And when I look at TV now, I think which Puerto Ricans are doing something for our culture. The first ones that come to my head are Santana Ortiz.
Yeah.
They're the guys that have been carrying the flag for Puerto Rico for a while now. You got Eva Lee, she's another Puerto Rican that's doing her thing. Got my tag partner Papo Esco, who not many people know of. He's just now starting to get his name out there.
Yeah.
Same thing with Slice Boogie as well, another Puerto Rican. But there's not many. Got Tasha Steelz at Impact.
Yeah. Savio Vega,
but he's from back in the day.
He's way back in the day. Yeah. Yep.
So like he wasn't really like. When I was watching as a kid, he wasn't one of the guys that were there anymore, So
right.
like, and if he was, I didn't remember because he probably wasn't on TV that much, So for me now, like there aren't many Puerto Ricans growing up. So now that I have an opportunity to showcase or be a face for that culture, like it's important to me to represent it as often as possible. I love that when I come out, it's the big Puerto Rican flag, you know, on the Titantron, you know. And then I love that I you know, have my bandana and the flag on my gear and things like that. It's important for me because my daughter's watching. You know, she watched last night on TV. She saw the Puerto Rican flag.
That was my next question. Does your daughter watch?
She loved it. She was so happy because she's, you know, I've missed Halloweens. I've missed, you know, birthday parties or left birthday parties early for bookings. Like, and now she's getting to that age where she's almost 7. She'll be 7 in April. She understands clear as day what daddy does.
Yeah.
And she knows, okay, this is New Japan. She knows, okay, this is just, you know, this is, you know, like, she knows, oh, that's the YouTube. She acts herself. She knows TV now. She's learning TV.
Yeah.
She knows that was TNT. She knows how big that match was. She knows who Kenny Omega is because she hears daddy talking about it all the time, you know? So having her watch, having her, you know, and when the match started, I still had my flag on, you know, because we were preloaded. I didn't have the entrance, so the flag wasn't going to be on the background, but I still wanted to have the flag on my head because I wanted people to see, okay, it's a Puerto Rican ring with Kenny Omega.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, man, it's important to me, man. It's always important to represent who you are, stay authentic and genuine to where you come from, your upbringing. I'm from a humble Puerto Rican family. I tell everybody all the time, man. My dad was a dope dealer. My mom was a college dropout. I was never supposed to be here, and I am, and I'm proud of that. My grandma called me today, and she was telling me how proud she was because her mom, my mom recorded it and let her watch it. You know what I'm saying? So like that to me, that means everything. My grandma came from Puerto Rico to New York, so you know, her being able to see her grandson do that, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, she was probably extremely proud last night, and you were probably proud hearing that, getting that call from her today too. Awesome stuff. I'm gonna go off the wrestling beaten trail here, the beaten path. I noticed you have Spider-Man. You have Spider-Man tattoos, and some Groot tattoos. Are you a big comic book fan? And were you actually bitten by a radioactive spider?
Well, a lot of people don't. This is something like, you might be one of the first podcasts where I talk about this, but a lot of people don't know this. You know, Spider-Man was a huge impact on my life growing up. My dad would bring home comic books to me and stuff like that. But what a lot of people don't know is I dress up as Spider-Man for like children's hospitals.
Oh. I
go to schools in spiders. I have 4 studio-made suits. I have, you know, the original red and blue Bagley suit. I have the MCU Iron Spider version. I have the black suit, and then I have a custom suit that I put together that I had somebody draw for me. And I go and I visit, you know, hospitals. I go visit schools. I do readings. I do birthday videos. I do birthday parties because I know that, you know, Spider-Man is one of the most loved characters. You know what I'm saying? Kids love a hero. And one thing I didn't like as a kid was when Spider-Man came to a party, he couldn't do shit Spider-Man can do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I love being able to go to these parties and do, you know, flips and run up the walls and do backflips off that for the kids and the poses and things like that. And so it really became a bigger part of my life. And it's something I don't really talk about. My godson, his name was Julian. He passed away to SIDS when he was 9 months old. But the first and last toy, well, not the first, but the last toy I ever got him was a Spider-Man toy. And when he passed away, I showed up to his funeral in my spider suit with the toy. And we put it on his grave and stuff like that. And that's when I really took like that, you know, that title of Spider-Man and we're like, you know what, I want to be able to be this for everybody. So since 2015, June of 2015, I've been doing the Spider-Man thing at parties and hospitals and even going to conventions and stuff like that, and just putting a smile on somebody's face, man. So yeah, the Spider-Man, but he became my favorite as a kid because of the comic books.
Yeah.
It's just, and then that kind of just gravitated over towards my wrestling. You know, I used to do the Spider-Man, different spider suits as my gear, my trunks, stuff like that, based on my favorite comic books. And now it's just, you know, in the ring, just the way that I move, the parkour stuff that I do in the ring, just kind of Spider-Man-ish. And another little, you know, and then even on Titantron, after the Puerto Rican flag, it says Danny Limelight with a radioactive spider. So, you know, it's kind of part of who I am now. My daughter, she used to call me Spider-Man for a while. Now she's like, Dad, you can't even shoot webs. You're not Spider-Man. And she knows it hurts my feelings. She goes, but it's okay. You don't have to be Spider-Man. You're my daddy. You're still my hero. So she tries to like put me over after she like buries me. You know what I'm saying?
She buries you and then puts you over. I have 3 daughters, so I definitely know what that's like.
Right.
So, yeah, for sure. Wow, that is some great stuff with the going to the hospitals and the birthdays. That's phenomenal. So, wow, good job out of you. We're at the end of the show here, and what I do is I'm going to give the mic to you. The floor is yours. put over anything you want. We've been posting links in the chat, but you can let people know because I'll push it out to podcast. Let people know where we can find you, where we can see all that fun stuff.
Well, first of all, I appreciate you bringing me on the show. I know my tweet about being the hottest free agent has a lot of people talking right now.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's how it should be. There should be people talking right now. But I will stay true and stand by it. Right now, I believe I'm the hottest free agent. I believe I have a lot to offer any company. And for anybody who doesn't follow me already, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Danny Limelight. You can go to prowrestlingtees.com/Danny Limelight. I'm doing cameos now, so cameo.com/Danny Limelight. And I even have a wrestling buddy. They could DM me or whatever, and I can send them the link to the wrestling buddy as well. I'm just super grateful for this opportunity, man. Thank you for putting me over on your show. Thank you for having me, and hopefully soon we can have me back on with some more major news or something like that.
Yeah, anytime, man. I mean, anytime. You're welcome. Doors open.
Thank you.
All right, have yourself a wonderful night. Thanks for coming on.
You too, man.
Peace.
Peace.
Awesome. Great stuff. Great stuff, Vanessa.
Am I good to bounce, bro?
Oh, yeah, you're good. Man. We're live. As soon as we're done, you can go. Thanks for coming on. Awesome. Oh, man, he is amazing, right? The amazing Danny Limelight.
That's right. I miss most of that because my dog is being a butt.
That's all right. We put all the past interviews on youtube.com/putting you over. If I can get it out tomorrow, man, that was really good. I mean, you could, and I've said this before about other people, ones that can resonate. I resonate. It comes through the camera to me. I can feel it. When he was talking about tip of the iceberg, like the hair on my arm went up because I got excited. I was like, shit, man, he wants to conquer the world. And he can. I can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Scooby's got passion. I can hear it. And he's good, man. You can hear it. He definitely can work a mic. So he's got no problem there. It's great in the ring.
And he's just a great human.
Yes. Oh, I wanted to actually say that line at the end of the show too. Shit, I forgot it.